everyone, welcome to yet another episode of the Reddit League Season 3. I'm Satomo, and I'm joined as always by my co-host, Calamity. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty great. Yeah, we've got another one of yours this week here in California up against, not a rival, because you've just been promoted to this division, but a long-time compatriot in Tall Impala. I think we dubbed this in the Reddit League show the sweaty match because you both you both are known to be quite the practicers. So, and especially in a place like California, it definitely lead to some interesting results here. So, yeah. So as we take a look at the stats for you two, quite back and forth, Calamity.
Yeah, it's all of them are pretty close. My average point's slightly higher, and probably also because of that, my ace is slightly higher. But yeah, best game on Tall Impala's side. There's actually a fun fact that, well, let's just say best game is not my strong suit. Gonna need to watch my video on Italy. The start of that, I'll tell you exactly what the fun fact is. I'm gonna keep that as a secret. Anyway, yeah, and we're pretty much on the same amount of points, but quite far apart despite that in the table, with Tall Impala in first and me in fifth. Just score difference wise, quite a big difference there because, well, when I lose, I mostly lose by a couple thousand points, and Tall Impala is lost. Well, I say when I lose, I've lost one game. It's not like it's a regular occurrence at this point, but I lost that one game.
You're not me. You're not me.
I lost that one game by like 4,000 or 3,000 points, and Tall Impala probably lost by less.
Yeah, so his score differential separating first from fifth place, very tight in Division 2 here. And we'll look at the map that we'll be facing off on. It is, of course, Week 6, California. By Super Cabas, 16,468 is the average score with over 150,000 locations. A pretty new map, but, pretty basic. Covers the entire state. Do you favor yourself in this one, Calamity? I know you both put in a lot of practice.
Yeah.
And how did practice go?
Practice went well, actually. Before I started practicing, I would have said no way. Just because, well, we've played 2 other US states before, and those didn't go too well, even though I quite liked Minnesota, but I still lost back then. And Pennsylvania went pretty terribly overall. But yep, through practice, I started getting more and more used to landscape, more and more used to different cities, area codes, which was quite enjoyable for me to learn as well. It's always kind of fun if you learn something and then you're in game and you see it and you can make use of that. So yeah, I'd say about even now. I don't know how much Tall Impala had practiced for California. I just knew he didn't have the most time. But I think that issue came from a bit later. That was more towards Asia. But yeah, I saw him play a few games. So yeah, I don't know how good he or how confident he feels, but I'd say I've got a good chance at least.
Okay, well, let's see how you all do as we jump into round number 1 here. And we start off on a very nice dusty road somewhere in the dry rural part of the state.
Yeah, nice and dry. Tall Impala immediately going west, and I went east, but I saw sort of this is going out of town into the middle of nowhere, and I kind of don't really want that.
Tall Impala's got a great sign. County of San Diego, Department of Public Works. And you, of course, turn around and see it as well.
Yes.
So.
Lakeside as well. It even tells you the exact road you're on.
Yeah, and the exact address you're at.
Yeah.
So quite helpful indeed. One should be maybe a pretty quick one then. Both of you having good information.
Pretty quick one to find out which road you are, but well, California is not the most accurate with house placements on the map, and there's no real side roads here on this stretch of road. So it's not easy to pinpoint.
Unfortunately, you can't see horses. That's about all you've really got besides those few sparse buildings. I guess you got some tractors as well. I don't know how good those are for pinpointing.
Those horses are always so annoying. They move. so you can't put them on the
I
map.
know. How dare they? That'd
Yeah.
be really funny though if Google Street View had like the Google Map had like objects
Mm.
from a satellite scan or something. That would be really hilarious.
Mm.
Yeah, so just under 2 minutes to go. You guys have both found the road, and it's going to be a lot of time of trying to pinpoint. You're
Yep.
doing your clicking,
Yeah.
trying to judge distance from driveways, which luckily do seem to appear on the map, which is interesting.
Some of them. This one doesn't. Most of them don't. So I quickly gave up on that. I was sort of looking at how far away could we maybe be from either side, but I realized quickly if I try and click either direction, it's gonna take me way more than 1.5 minutes for like no information, because it'll tell me like there's 40 clicks to the left and 60 clicks to the right. And then I'm just at the same point again where I know I'm somewhere here, but I need to know where exactly. So I just ended up going with houses and trying to pinpoint with that, and just didn't work.
Yeah, and the point of interest is about the only other thing on the other side of the road you've got. It does work out for Talampala. He will pick up the ace. You, though, dropping 4 points, 4,996.
I saw some houses north of us, and they're just not on the map. So unfortunate.
Yeah, unfortunate. So out of that perfect game race for you, Talampala is still in it. So after that round, but yeah, not much there. Just got the road, but then good luck on trying to kind of guess in that pinpointing. So we'll jump into round. Oops, I need to actually move the video.
That would be helpful, yes.
Yeah. I always expect you to talk more, and then if you don't talk, I'm like, oh, So there we go.
Gotta ask me questions.
Now our timer's setting. Yeah. Okay, and from dry to more dry, but this time with snow on the ground.
Yep.
Still looks kind of like a desert, but just a winter desert.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to call it dry when there's snow there.
Yeah. It's one of those weird things, right? Like Antarctica is technically a desert because the rainfall in a year is below a certain level, even though it's completely covered in snow. So.
Yeah, I'm not going to pretend like I know, but I don't think this part of California would qualify as a desert.
Yeah, just that, probably more of like what's the other term? The high, what is it, like high shrubland or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it looks like it's dry, but it's mostly just because you're so far high up in elevation that nothing really grows. High plains, maybe that's the word I'm looking for.
Could be.
Basically where I grew up. Right?
Yeah. You'll notice that we're not talking much about the game at this point, because there's just nothing to talk about, because we're both just clicking away, trying to make our way towards the west. Both walking the same way, at least.
Yeah, just long stretches of empty road winding through the mountains here. If there's anything to talk about, we will talk about it.
Sometimes we'll skip over it.
Yeah. Depends on how things are going.
Yeah.
At this point, a few of those road signs in terms of just curves and bends, but no actual helpful information.
Yeah, Talampala has made it out of the snow slightly earlier than me by about, let's say, 5 seconds. So we're roughly equal on pace. As Talampala can already see, I think, in the distance there, a small little village.
It's always funny that we call it a village, but like to me, like they're small towns. A village is in Europe, even though there's no real difference between it.
Is it?
It's just word choice.
Okay.
But no, I mean you can call them a village for sure. But as Talampala does find an intersection with some very nice signs, town names, and a national park will help him start to narrow things down.
And I'm right behind. Also making it to that intersection.
Well. As an English teacher, it's one of those things where, students say, what's the difference between a village and a town? You're like, they're both small, and most Americans don't call their own places a village. They call them towns. And it sounds more British English, I guess, to say like, oh, it's a village.
Mm,
Really no difference.
yeah. Okay.
And there's a ranch that looked like maybe you did pass.
Yeah, I'm sort of at this point. I'm looking for the road name. When I realized afterwards, I could have just looked for the 64, but
Mm-hmm.
not too big of a deal as both of us are running out of time. And I sort of look at this intersection here, sort of goes over a river, and it looks exactly like the right one right here. And
Only a few seconds. And if someone else gets very far away, we will see that. You will get it. 4,000, roughly get it, that is. 4,773
yeah, this
points for you. Your new high resolution monitor makes it really hard to read numbers. So, and Tom Paula in the general area, but not able to find that road before time ran out. 4,320 points for him.
yeah,
So you'll make up those few points you lost in round one, Calamity.
yeah, there's actually two intersections there that look exactly the same, pretty much. Like they're slightly different, ever so slightly, but I don't think you could ever tell while in game, and not like when you don't have like a two pictures of them side by side. So I just underestimated how far I traveled and went with the first intersection that looked completely right. But yeah, got the points I needed there to overtake Tom and Paul again. So it's not too big of an issue. It just could have gotten me a bit closer to a perfect game.
Yeah, just needed a few more seconds to get that. Unfortunately, you didn't have them. So we'll see how you do in round three. And ooh, another equally fun challenge, Suburban,
Yes.
California.
Very fun.
You do start off next to a elementary school, which could be good as a point of interest to be able to work on your pinpointing.
Yeah, it could be. We're gonna see later on.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna use that.
The first task is always to get out of this place
Yeah.
and get some useful information. Maybe check a few trash cans on your way out, see if they have anything. Doesn't seem like either one of you is interested, though. Just trying to click as fast as you can to get out. Ooh, this looks like it's promising. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
You've made it out. And if your screen will actually load
my screen
what you're looking
load.
at. There we go.
It's not a video issue, by the way. That's just my Geoguessr not loading.
Yeah.
But it was kind of the funny thing there was I was saying that sign, street sign, isn't going to load anyway, even if Geoguessr loads it, because I could already tell, even in all of the blurriness, I could tell that the street sign was going to be blurred out anyway.
Yeah, this blurriness is more blurry.
Yes.
So give up on that. As you head down the main road looking for information, you have seen an area code, 408.
Yeah, it got teleported around quite a few times there as well. At this point, I wasn't entirely sure where exactly 408 was. I knew that it was one of the area codes that I should have remembered, or I knew at one point, but I had kind of forgotten a bit.
Yeah, Tall Impala hitting a few awkward intersections, not quite dead ends, but not as promising as your path out. He has seen a 408 area code as well. So if he does have that down, he has pretty much as much information as you have.
Yeah, at this point, that is true. Yeah, at this point, I seen Saratoga, and I was kind of thinking I remember that from somewhere, but I wasn't quite sure where I remembered it from. So I put a pin down, but I was kind of like, I don't really want to go looking for it right now because I am in a place where I can find much better information. So I'd rather just look for that. And here actually I
find it.
Yeah, I found the State Highway 85, and I remembered actually that the 85 is the state highway that's around San Jose, because I had that a few times in practice, and I looked for it back then. And then I was sort of complaining internally about how that's such a small state highway because it's only like that small part of San Jose. That's why I thankfully remembered where it is exactly.
There you go. Practice pays off. And now to the pinpointing.
Yep.
With about 30 seconds left, Tall. Oh, look at that. He makes it out.
Great.
Really unfortunate for him. Just getting lost in that Cerberus, and he sees the highway is not too far away. If he can somehow miraculously click on it,
that's somehow
which you can do,
but it never
it's
works.
not impossible, but
you can do it, but it just never works when you want it to work.
yeah, exactly. He's just gonna have to throw something down. Thinks, hey, big city.
There's that school, by the way, on my screen, which I'm totally not using, but I found the road.
There you go. Found the road instead, even better.
Yeah,
and as time expires, again, not quite gonna get it. 4,996 for you again, just missing out on an ace, and only look at that, 178 points. Yeah, people might forget how far apart San Francisco and Los Angeles are, and you need a reminder. There you go.
478 kilometers. Even a bit further because he guessed in well, the right location was near San Jose, not San Francisco, so probably about 500 kilometers. But I did something slightly stupid there in that I found Liepāja Drive. I had problems pronouncing that before, and there was one more road that I was kind of looking for, which was the side road to it. I can't read exactly, something Mountain Drive. I can't read the first word, and I found the mountain drive in like the last second and just instinctively put my marker on it away from the 5K position. And I realized that as soon as I clicked, but that was like exactly in the last second. So I immediately ran out of time. So if I had 1 second more or 1 second less, I would have got a 5K in that round. But at that exact point in time, I didn't.
Yeah, and if you need any more proof of that, you can just look at the face cam right here. And you can see the anguish on your face as I perfectly paused the timer.
Never pause videos.
At least not with your camera in them. I think, what was it? Who was it? Hidekmi was also like, why were you pausing videos at those points when my face looked the worst? So it can happen. But okay, well, you've definitely got quite the lead going into round number 4 here. Pretty tough for Tall Paul to come back from that one. I think the best he can hope for is a draw if you as well drop quite a few points.
Yeah, the problem for him at this point is that he's more than 5,100 points behind, which means even if he gets 0 points and he gets an ace, he's still not in draw range. So he'd need me to actually mess up both the last rounds, which he of course doesn't know at this point. But so he's in a very bad position, and if I at least get like a calm 3,000 points in each round, then I'm already good on my way to the win.
Yeah, and you've already with less than just about 30 seconds gone have found a nice road, as has Tall Impala. Lots of good information, so it doesn't look like you're going to be dropping a whole lot of points here, especially as you come up across a interstate number.
Yep. I also saw there that we're on Mulholland Drive, which is a street name I recognized from practice. But again, as it always is with me from practice, I didn't remember where exactly it was. I just knew it was somewhere where I was in practice as well.
Yeah, pretty major road in the Los Angeles area. But that exit sign will give you plenty of information as well as the university you passed. I think you almost started next to the campus, actually.
It's not a bit further south, but we came across it on our way to the main road, I think. It wasn't too far away. Now I'm just looking. I don't know why I went that far south with the 405 here. I realize pretty soon that we have to be somewhere close to the intersection between the 405 and the 101, which is right here.
Yep. And now, exact road, you've got that. All appears to be doing the same thing.
There's the university.
And now to the actual streets to pinpoint, which seems to be what Paul's working on as well, but is a little bit confused by exactly how this is all laid out.
I think Tall Impala might be a bit too far south.
I think you found like a road name, but not exactly where the location was, and you'll finally get your ace after messing 2 rounds up.
Yeah.
And guessing a little bit early, confident in your placement this time. Paula's still trying to catch a few more names that might help him in this pinpointing. He starts to he starts to scroll north, but then what, did he not see the university maybe? Is that why he
went pretty quickly past it. I don't know if he saw it sort of subconsciously or even looked at the sign. I don't think he spent much time looking at it if he did. He seems to be in quite I mean, he's not miles away, but he is in the wrong place by quite a few hundred meters.
Yeah, he's on the wrong exit, essentially.
Yep, he's like 1 or 2 exits too far south.
Yeah, and
he is like actually miles away, purely by literal definition.
Yeah. Did he find a road name that was very, very similar? I want to go back and almost check that. But
I think he saw, if you see there on his screen, like to the left of the interstate, there's Sepulveda Drive Boulevard or whatever that is actually called. I can't quite read it, but that continues like all the way along the 405, and it sort of rang a bell for me. So I think there might have been a sign for that closer to the start as well. And he might have just found that boulevard near the exit he actually ended up finding. And so he thought, well, it must be here then, which it wasn't. But that's at least what I think could have happened.
Yeah, but it also looked like he actually saw the side street, the actual small suburban street name, and he kept checking back to that as his reference point. So I don't know if he mistaken like the name for what he was looking at. Maybe it was a street instead of a road or something, because they could share the same name. And so that was causing him to focus on something that wasn't actually going to give him any fruit in the long run. And he will drop a few more points here. So that means, Calamity, going into round number 5, that you have over a 5,000 point lead. Yep. So while both of you don't know it, not very stressful.
Well, Tall Impala actually does know it.
Because, that's right, because he can see you play.
He can see my score, so he knows at this point that he's lost, but he's probably trying to at least still get a good score for maybe the bonus points, although probably at this point, even that's difficult. But he's zooms straight into Sacramento once he sees H Street. He did the same thing that Chicago did.
Yeah, and it took him, how fast was that? It took him 27 seconds to get an ace in that round. So
I don't know.
Showing us he does have some skills.
I can only imagine.
You seem to be a little bit.
Yeah, at this point I don't know where I am, but I can only imagine two possibilities here. Either both Tall Impala or Chicago know Sacramento so well that they recognize it based on the buildings, or they've just both thought it was the only city in California with alphabet streets, as I'll call them, which is just not true. But if you only know of that one and just assume it is and get lucky that you are in the right town, maybe.
I mean, it's probably a little bit of a combination. Like, it's the buildings sort of look like that. It does have letter names for streets, and then also kind of the seasonality of it. That kind of thing all combined gives them some confidence to just zoom straight into Sacramento. We'll see that you will do the same thing, just being more thorough.
Yeah, so a fire truck.
Wanting to drop as many points as you can.
So a fire truck that said Sacramento Fire Department.
That's always helpful.
Yep.
Nice of them to put that on their trucks.
I was so obsessed with being right there that I even tried for about 20 seconds to see if the street I was currently on if I can find that somewhere in Sacramento, or if maybe the fire truck had come somewhere from a different town to this one. But yeah, eventually I just decided, okay, I should probably be confident enough that this is Sacramento.
Mm-hmm. Very fast for Tall Impala as well. There we go. It is score on screen for you, as you will get your guess in and pick up an ace as well. And a thumbs up from you. A game well done. 19,357 for Tall Impala in that one. 24,365?
765.
765 for you to finish out. So not only do you pick up the win, Calamity, but you pick it up in some style, really helping your score differential there after this week.
Certainly quite good for that. Eventually ended up finishing, I think, 4th it was at the end. But yeah, definitely very happy with that. Not only with the win, but that was, I think I've said it before, how that was the first performance this season where I was like, after it, okay, I've got a good chance with this score. That was pretty good. Whereas with all the other weeks before, even if I did win 4 out of 5 of them, I was always like, it wasn't bad maybe, but yeah, with this one, I was definitely happy.
Very nice. Well, congrats on the win there, and you're climbing up those tables for that. And we'll see you all next time. Take care.
Bye.